And with this chapter of Eden Zero, we've got a closer look at Shiki's true power, shall we say. A bunch brand new characters getting introduced, and I think hopefully that Elsie's been taking us through a ride, because if so, then her entire introduction has been to seemingly a Demon King fanboy, to say the least, and all that, and to see that the child of such a person is now in front of her. I think definitely Elsie is probably gonna stick around with this kid a little longer, because definitely there's some stuff around here that she kind of sees. So let's definitely talk about that, because the fact of the matter is that the Elsie and Shiki fight may have already been concluded, but the fact of the matter is that there's still something clearly going on with Elsie that she hasn't fully revealed yet to Shiki and the rest of them. But definitely let's talk about Day Machina comic and a bunch of all this stuff as well, because one thing that you notice is when she's talking about it, it's wait, she's talking going, you're not human, what's going on with you with the skull face and all that, and it's like, you are the one that inherited that power and all that, and it's like, why do you know about me? Show me that, show me that power now. And seeing that she has the same ability like her crew members, where she's able to use these giant tentacles to attack people. Again, there's still no whole confirmation as well, because especially I was really interested in chapter, because this one is called Eden Zero. It was so we're going to find out a little bit about the world, a little bit more going on with the characters itself, and a lot of it was definitely Shiki based for this chapter, but nothing on this that it cements where Shiki's goals and his true journey, where he wants to lie around in with all the planets in the galaxy that he wants to explore. But we finally get to see something that not even his grandpa taught him, he knew of, but finally be able to get a hang of it, and that was his a lot more of his Day Machina powers as he was dealing with Elsie. And again, I want to finally have Shiki have a true remote, because you're seeing he's getting slammed about by these stupid octopus whole tentacles flaming around him, bashing him across him. He's dashing across all of the windows and the visors around the spaceship, and he's going in for a punch, and it's Elsie is able to turn these tentacles into kind of gauntlets and to kind of protect herself, and it's wait, you're kind of actually decently strong with that. And even when you see him being trained back in the day by the Demon King, which we find out where it's his ability was gravity. That was something that clearly that was given to him, what we saw from Shiki, when it was mentioned, it was oh, this is the sort of power, and it's he is doing it without ease, especially with the shitty grin that he's got on as well, and he's in there, Grams, you're using gravity and all that. He's well, try learning it yourself then, brat. And to be fair, I have a soft spot for some of the panels in this chapter, because there's a great one where he's aight, he has to cut loose, both gauntlets comes out like that, he goes in, alright, I need to finally start taking this bitch seriously, and then starts diving in. She then just grabs Shiki and just grinds his face into the floor, and it's this, come on, is this really what the Demon King actually had on there? It's you need to show me why exactly he's the one that gave you this power, that let you inherit it. And he's and it goes back to him as a kid, and where it's you need to actually train more, you need to actually think a little bit more about it, I must become stronger, on that, you need to truly mean that. It's you need to dedicate yourself to your training for the most part. And one thing where it's you find out that what at least Elsie is saying, or at least this version of her is saying, is that she is someone who is wanting to surpass, who claims to herself that she surpassed it, the Demon King itself, and it's and who exactly are you? And it's just what is your purpose? And he's I'm gonna go meet Mother, and I'm gonna get the best ship to go out there and do it. And he's you're an absolute idiot. The fact that no one's actually been able to do this before and all that. You're pretty much spouting shit, even though that you're a brand new guy around here. And even where it's when he's talking about this, it's you're seeing more of this flashback going back, where it's you're seeing when the Demon King just stopped moving when he finally passed away, and it's just no, I'm gonna fix you, right? Like, I'll fix him no matter what. I haven't surpassed Grimes yet. I can't do that. And it's like, you see that the king's like there, and it's like there's actually this like really sad moment of like him like tearing up, and like kind of all the other robots realizing, and the thing like, it's seeming like what, at least what they're implying so far, is that when he gave his ether gear to Shiki, and we knew as well with these robots that they didn't have long to live anyway, that they were all running out, and I think out of all of them, like, he was clearly the strongest, the Demon King out of all of them. Like, it's pretty much implied so far that he, at least either his power or how these ether gears truly work for the most part, like, or at least Shiki's one, like, this clearly belonged to the Demon King, and he gave his ether gear, somehow implanted it into him, and pretty much taught him for the most part, at least some of the stuff, and he's like, no, I haven't even learned, like, you can't die yet, I had to learn, like, this cool move off you, like, this, I think it's called, like, Makita, like, Comet, which we see in this chapter. We see him, pulling out the full-out stops with it, as he's able to use this mode, which, first time fully seeing it, where we see the entire markings coming around all of his body. He's got these weird, like, very tribal kind of like wings coming out of his head. Like, it's a very weird design coming off around him as he's doing the gravity comet, and he's like slamming down on Elsie, like taking it down like a couple of like flights of like the building, and it's like, it really reminds you of that, like, very early on. It's like, although he's got a shitting grin on there, it's like it's trying to bring you back to some of that stuff, like where he's like Tower of the Heather Jalal, and he's just smashing him down, like all those like multiple parts of the building, and it's like you can tell that it's like, this is Shiki's, like, at least I would say this is probably at least the level he's at the moment, like, because clearly he still needs training, he still needs to actually fully like surpass himself, but it's like, this is probably, I would say, at least the max he can do, because again, we're still not at like an opponent, well, at least hopefully with like Elsie, because this is going to be very disappointing if this is just all that she's got, and again, that's like, to me, like, her power, like, we haven't seen so much of her power apart from it can create tentacles and it can give her crew members, I mean, it's a weird, and they confirm that she does have an ether gear, and like, how this is working as well, it's clearly the works of it, it's just, we don't know the full concept of it, and yet why. I feel like the fact with the mask as well, like, going more on the fact that she's a super Demon King fangirl for the most part, is the fact that she pretty much uses this whole mask thing, and like saying things about the Demon King. Like, he looks like a fucking skeleton lord. He looks like someone that would like have a beard with like Ainz Ul Ghul, like down out in Overlord. Like, it's clearly that I feel like that's where it's going, and I think when that happens, it's gonna be cracking through her reality, where it's like, no, I did all this to be like super cool, like evil, like bitch, and all that for like my pure Delta Demon King that I envisioned. And whether or not like we know where this is going to go down the road future more, because we got introduced to some of the other characters that were shown off in the very first preview, which we see is the Space Government Star System Alliance, which is Justice, Victory, and Creed, which is these guys who, one, Justice has like a history already with Elsie, and it's like, already I'm going to try and catch you up, so it's like, and going by the design as well, it's like, oh, we got a little, you know, we got a little Urza Jalal here, not only just the designs, but this guy looking like some mix between like Grey and I definitely the Jalal one was the one that struck me first when I first saw his design just on there. But I definitely say like Victory is probably, like, I mean, again, there's no real people that look like from like his other series on there. It's just like this very weird buff, like macho dude, and then especially even as well Creed is like a and again, that was the thing where it's like, I'm happy where it's like, again, with like Elsie, especially, you know, I think like Elsie and out of all of them on that, like Justice have been like the two that I felt, if anything, like they were the most standoffish. Even like with Shiki, there were still like similar design patterns, but there were still slight differences to like exactly with the star comparing him to Hara and Asuka, and I was like, those are the two I felt like they got the most flack out of all of them, and like definitely I was like, oh, there are more unique designs here, and I'm actually happy to see some of that. And it's, again, like, especially with like his if anything his Comet mode, that we saw some really interesting stuff for that, where like you see all the markings around him, you saw these cool little like wings on there, and I think like you see with like how the ether gear works, especially like it is completely implanted into his whole body, and again with this core, like which what we're going for, that was the Demon King core, is pretty much implanted into his body, and what exactly he can do from now on, because we've seen him float, fly, crush things, like we've seen him like make condensed oil, we've seen like some crazy stuff that we can see from Shiki, and like considering that this is like, if anything, like his max power at the moment, and like which I'm guessing is like, and I'm still like, is even as well like he's like nowhere like near like any tactician like kind of like Haru was and all that, or he hasn't got that pure just raw strength that Natsu had, where it's like the guy could just fucking completely like melt like an entire lake into just steam. Like he was able to turn like all of that, like condense it all down like with just some of his power. So it's like definitely Shiki, I feel like, needs to kind of balance between the two, whereas like so far he's been just running in like an airhead, and I kind of want to see a little bit more of what he can do. But definitely I do like the design for the most part, like what we get to see with him, and especially like when the like at least with Justice and all them, where they're freaking out in that ship, whereas like what the hell is like going on in there, like the ether readings and all that, they're like they're reaching like, you know, these max levels, and it's like, and especially when they were like talking about it, it's like what is going on, because with the identification code in there, it's like they already have an ID, where it's like we already have a match to like the Demon King itself, and it's like what is up with this and all that, and it's like this gravity field and all that, and it's like, so clearly there's already, we know, especially with the Demon King, is like we don't know his full history with like, the rest of the world, apart from the snippets that we heard from Shiki's side, so to see what other people hear from. But I'm definitely going with, at least with Elsie, that she is a super hardcore Demon King fan. That's sort of like where I am at the moment, but so far I hope there's a little bit more to her than just like that and like this power and all that, because so the other technical stuff, not really too much interesting so far with her power and all that. Like again, she's Urza in a space to Captain Harlock cosplay, so I kind of want to see what makes her a little bit more of a badass captain. But it's like, if this is like her, like I feel like this is more like the test for her to try out on Shiki at the moment, where it's like, is this someone that I actually give a shit about? And it's like the fact that he has like, she was picking up this reading, or at least she maybe even potentially like is following a request from the Demon King, where it's like, when after like this like he kind of goes out to the world, look after him for me. Like we don't, like, again, it can go down, and I feel like with next chapter being titled Born Once Again, I'm kind of curious where that's going on there. And it's like, but one thing that's like an interesting thing that definitely what we got with one of the members, he was saying there's no change in Elsie's ether, which is one thing where it's like there's nothing's like changing in it at all. So I feel like this could still be a little bit of the ruse at the moment with Shiki. Again, we'll have to wait and see what exactly is going on, but clearly and all that, we haven't got all the answers yet. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, what you feel about the Season 0 chapter. But that is all from me. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.